and welcome to my kitchen. Going early today. It's day 3 of Vlogmas, which means I'm going to be going live every day in December. If it kills me, which it might today. I'm trying some new equipment and some new different things, as you guys have known. So I think I got the scheduling the restream thing together. Got it with Ecamm where it's all working together, and possibly I have comments. I have no comments right now, so I may not have the comments down. Oh, yay! So there is a comment, and I'm seeing you. So I'm using the Ecamm beta, which gives me comments, but has somehow cut me down to one camera. So it's going to be an exciting little foray into cold foam cold brew coffee. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we've made some syrup, so you can watch the past videos. So yesterday we made a cinnamon dolce syrup with brown sugar and cinnamon. Yum. This is the one we made on Monday in my exciting, beautifully labeled bottle. I save all my bottles for things like this. And it's gingerbread syrup. So what it really is ginger and cinnamon and clove infused maple syrup, which is pretty awesome. So because, oh, and hi Ashley, that's awesome. I'm so glad that it's working. Cheryl is actually looking into things. We're having some trouble with our Wi-Fi, I think, or maybe not trouble, but that the upload speeds are changing drastically at any given moment, which is not super helpful since this is my job. But I'm plugged into the router, so if it slows down, I apologize, but there's nothing else I can do from my side. Hopefully it won't. Oh, good, and Ashley said she caught up on YouTube. Great. So, you know those fancy, we've been talking fancy coffees, and this could be fancy tea drink, fancy cold not steamer, which means you could just use some syrup and some non-dairy milk and make something beautiful as well. Cold foam became really, really popular at Starbucks, and I'm going to try 2 ways to do it. So I listed it somewhere, depending on where you're watching this, the things that I'm using today. So one thing is expensive, which it's a Vitamix, though I did find a reconditioned one, like a refurbished one, and I put that on there because that was a good price. And a special pitcher. I don't know if they call them pitchers. And so, and actually, since I just have one camera, I'm going to try and pan in here a little bit. Can you guys see that? So it's not like a regular disc. So what that does is help aerate what's in here. And you're saying my volume is low? Usually my volume is never low. Oops, let's see. Here we go. Come back out. And Joanne says she's been having online issues too. She has a new modem cable box and a person somewhere in Asia to help her. I think Cheryl may be doing something like that, though we have really good routers. So everything inside the house is super, super modern. So we're a little worried about that. Hey, Jackie, it's awesome to see you. So this is what they actually use, this, and it's AER is the name of this accessory for the Vitamix. And actually, you know what? I'm going to check. Somebody else says they can't hear me at all. Can you hear me now? Jackie says the volume's good. I'll give you guys a minute. It looks like it's coming on fine.
Make sure it's using the plug-and-play device and not the...
It is. So I just checked to see. Yeah, I guess today, this week should just be Vlogmas. Tech from you know where. Woo! Let's have a party. Okay, Jackie says, okay, I'm not hearing anybody say anything, so if someone could tell me if they can hear me. Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. Sorry to be super needy this Thursday morning. It's that kind of day. Okay, awesome. And I think that some of the people in the groups, it says Facebook user. So I don't have your name. So if I don't, I apologize. I'm seeing things like, I'm seeing people from YouTube. I'm seeing people like, I don't know where Jackie's coming in and Ashley is coming in from. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so very much. So again, let's just start all over. And Joanne says she has the volume down. I know, usually I'm kind of loud. I'm not loud all the time, but when I do these, I get very projecty because I'm looking out to you. So let's just take a deep breath. Deep Zen breath, everybody. And I'm restarting my Thursday. So what we're doing today is we're making another fancy Starbucks thing. Now, this is not one that necessarily saves you money immediately if you're using this fancy Vitamix edition. And again, and actually I don't even think you really need me to zoom in. See how that's not the 3 prongs that are normally in there? And I also have been reading about, but have not done it yet, that you can do something similar with this guy. So I thought we'd do both, and instead of me testing it before I do it, let's just do all this together. It's going to be loud. Oh, and someone's saying my mouth isn't attached to the words. That has to do with internet lag. So again, we are as plugged in as we can be on the inside of the house. And I apologize if it goes in and out too much. You can always watch the replay, which should be a tinge better. It's usually better than it's been the past 2 days. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Someone said I generate so much positivity. I am not feeling it today yet, but I am working hard on it. I've been working on this setup, which should be just normal, for like an hour and a half, or at least an hour. But I digress. We're going to make yummy coffee goodness. So, and this, if you don't do coffee, still stick around. You can do this with tea. So like if you like London Fogs, make your Earl Grey tea and froth some milk. The only difference between cold frothing and warm frothing is the milk is not warm. But you could use this and actually heat it up. And if you are in a pinch, you can shake up some milk in a sealed mason jar, please. Don't continue my Thursday trend. Whew, milk everywhere, right? That would not make you happy. It wouldn't make me happy either. And then while there's bubbles at the top, if you stick it in the microwave, it'll help set those a little bit. So that's kind of your like 10-cent version of this. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Ashley says I'm doing great. And you know what? Part of the thing, you guys may not even know this, but I actually teach other people how to do live video. So one of the things I try to teach them is stuff's going to go wrong, and just take a deep breath and go for it. But like right before this, none of the cameras were working, so I was freaking out then. Okay, awesome. And thank you so much, Cheryl, for letting me know that. Yeah, and Joanne said she heard Moxie. So Moxie's our cat. She's going, feed me. But I fed her several hours ago.
Maybe have folks that are having issues like with sound or your voice being off. Tell us what platform they're watching on.
Okay, awesome. And someone says they love the videos where I create while I'm here because you get to hear my reasoning. I love that. I'm always just like, I feel like I need to maybe do this. So what Cheryl was just, I don't know if you guys could hear Cheryl say that, but the people who are having like lag problems, like, or my mouth is not going with my words and things like that, if you wouldn't mind putting a comment with what platform, like are you using a computer, a tablet, or your phone? Are you on Apple or PC or Android? And maybe are you on YouTube or Facebook? That would be super helpful because she's trying to troubleshoot this with the techie people while I'm doing this. Yeah, Joanne's right. She does not. Joanne says she doesn't remember when she was fat, and I'm pretty sure she did. She just may not have liked that flavor. Moxie's getting older, so she is cantankerous, is the nice way to say that. Okay, so anyhow, I'm also going to talk about the 2 milks that I've used, and we will froth, and then we'll talk a little bit about some other things. So these are barista blends. So barista blends are not oil-free. So if that's a deal breaker for you, you can still do some other things in the same container, like soy milk or almond milk. You just may not get the same amount of froth, and it's not going to hold as well. So it's just your priorities. If you're oil-free, that's a big priority, right? So that's cool. Awesome. And Cheryl, they're putting stuff in the comments, so you might be able to see that. And if you want to come back over here, you can. Oh, Cheryl just got out of bed, so she doesn't want to. I got up and I was like, I'm going to do my live while she's still sleeping. So, awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, and someone said no comments are showing but my own. And I am streaming in 8 different places right now. So I'm in 7 different places on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching on a place that's not that populated right now with people, you may not see the other comments. That's also why I'll just bring them in and be like, hey, there is a possibility for me to bring in all the comments and just have you see those. But right now, I don't think that that's a good idea. If that's something you guys really want, though, let me know and we can experiment with it possibly tomorrow if the other things work better. Okay, and somebody uses the oat one. The Ripple one, it leaves a chalkiness taste. And I have not used the Ripple Barista. I have a case of it from when I was going to Bend City. So we were finding cases of these for $7 or $8. Now they're usually like $5 each. So that's about what you can expect to pay too. So again, if you're going to Starbucks and buying a $6 drink, you get 4 drinks at least out of this, depending on how light you like your coffee. And the stream was just lowered, eCam told me. So you may notice some things changing up. Okay, awesome. I do really like the oat. I like Califia a lot anyhow. So let me show you what this ends up looking like, and then we'll do dueling frothers. So I'm just going to take this. I use a lot of milk in my coffee. I really just like sweet, milky goodness. I should probably just be having a steamer. I've got decaf coffee anyhow. So I usually put about a cup in. Sometimes I will flavor this, which means I will go ahead and pour some of the syrup in here. And with the hazelnut syrup I use sometimes, I can smell it. And when I smell the hazelnut, right here in my nose, not here, but right here, it's perfect the way I like it. So, and I'm trying to train Cheryl how to do that. With the new vanilla syrup I got, it's a little bit different. So remember, because we're always smelling things, and our sense of smell is really incorporated with how we taste things, to try and think about doing that. But for right now, especially since we're dueling, let's see what we get this way. There is, disclaimer, going to be a lot of blending, and it's a weird sound. Okay, let me get it where you guys can really. So much like anything else, I'm going to start off a little bit slow. And that disc is, with all the little holes and things, it's forcing air in. So usually it'll get up to 1.5 to 2 cups by the time I'm done. You see how it's coming up a little bit higher? Some of it is the speed, but then when we come all the way down or cut it off, I'm not done yet, but that's definitely above the 1 cup mark right now, and you can see some of the bubbles. Okay, and that's just the beginning. That is not the end of this. So usually what I do, and I'm just going to come over here to the side so I can be a little far away from that. So usually what we do is we do I guess I do like even numbers for a few seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds. Then I go up a little bit higher. I can go longer, but let me show you what we're looking at, and I'll try and move this in closer again so you can get a better idea. You guys see that? You can't see that very well, can you? Shoot. But like, this will probably help. See how, like, it's really frothy. That gives you a better description of it, right? Now, I could keep going longer, like I said. So about here, see the line? That's the froth and that's the milk. If I keep going, I will get more froth. Let me come back out again. Okay, so, but that gives you an idea of what's going on. And what's great is, so like this cup, and Starbucks new cups have this kind of thing. So what I do is I mix it in with everything, and I'm going to do this at the end. But you keep the froth at the top, and that is what that final mouthfeel is of the coffee, and that's really the draw of this whole cold foam, is this fluffy, light mouthfeel. And let's go back over here. Yeah, and someone said I would buy a case of it for $7. Yes, you would, because it's good. And also, if you're not using a lot of non-dairy milk in your coffee, you can make this last a lot longer. I drink about half and half coffee in that. And someone else was mentioning they use decaf, and something else I've used before is Ticino. So you can cold brew some of those like dandelion coffees. My favorite is the Ticino that is not gluten-free, which I can't have anymore. But it's the chicory and dandelion and, I just forgot the thing that I can't have. Barley. The barley, which is not gluten-free, really gives it that same kind of yummy coffee flavor. And so I'll tell you real quick about cold brew too, because we talked about this the other day. So this is what I do my cold brew in. And so inside of here, it's not going to be pretty because it's got coffee in there, but it's very, very fine holes. So you can use, oh my gosh, this one smells really good. The new flavor is chocolate hazelnut. And I just let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. If it's really hot, you can put it in the fridge. I keep my house like an ice box, so I leave it out. Coffee's natural acidity also is a little bit of a preservative. This will last easily a week to 10 days in the fridge, sometimes up to 2 weeks. So, and this, when you're making it in something like this, it actually makes it less concentrated than if you're buying concentrate at the store. So if you find yourself buying concentrate at the store and you use a 1/4 cup and extra milk, you might use a 1/2 cup of this to get your coffee milk ratio just the way you want it. Oh, and someone says, good morning, Susan. Uses the dark roast dandelion Ticino bags. Yeah, you can use the bags. I like to have everything cold and cold brewed and ready to go. So let's see what happens in here. I'm not convinced that this is going to do it as well. The demo that I saw with someone doing this, so I'm just going to I'm going to make one for Cheryl too. And if this doesn't work, I can just pour it in the other one. So we could also try doing a whisk. Okay, and someone says, can you please tell me again what that container is for the Vitamix that you're using right now? It's AER, and actually if you look in the description where the video is, so if you're watching on Facebook, you might need to double click the video and make it big. Then on the right hand side, you'll see all the details. I actually put links to everything that I'm using, because I usually get questions about like, what kind of cold brew maker am I using? And honestly, I'm not linking to this exact one because it's not really there anymore. There's a copy of it, or is this a copy? I don't know. Of the milks, of the Vitamix container. The Vitamix container, when I got it, so I used birthday money, and I got it for $75. When I looked this morning, it's $115. So I want to be real transparent with you that it's not a super bargain thing at the moment. I don't know if they're going to go down. When I was looking for my birthday, it was $99 and it was on sale for $75. So something could happen at Christmas or after Christmas. Okay, and actually, oh, dang it, and this is what, can you guys see a little bit? Let's look at this. So this was not as long. I think this works. Look. So if you would like to not pay $115, or you don't have a Vitamix, because that doesn't include the base, that's just that container. This is the Milthy immersion blender. I put a different one because the Milthy has gone up in price significantly, and I don't think it's worth $100. I think it was worth $50. And there was another one that gets a lot of high ratings, like a lot, on Amazon, so I put that on. As things electronically keep getting copied, I'm going to do this a little bit more. Like I need to have loud rock music or something going on during that. Awesome. And if you buy through the links that are around, it is my affiliate links, and what that means is I get a little bit of money when you buy through it, but it doesn't cost you anything. So it's not like you pay extra for me to get some money. And that's the way Amazon always works. But it does help me produce these lives, make new recipes for you, and pay my bills. So thank you, all of you who buy through my links. I appreciate it. Okay. And honestly, it's really not bad at all. So again, I could do it longer, but I would prefer not to torture you any more than necessary. But yeah, you can hear it. It sounds like Rice Krispies. So I don't know if it may not stay as stiff as this. So like from before, this is the one in the Vitamix. So it's really stiff. It really, really stiff. And this is thinner. It was thicker before I blended it that long, so it could be that you blend it a little bit and not a lot. But either way, this is still, and you guys can sort of not see that. Let's make these, and that way so you can see them pouring. And hopefully by tomorrow, Mr. Overhead Camera will reappear. So I'm going to, Cheryl, do you want the gingerbread? She doesn't care? Okay, so I'll do the gingerbread in this one because there's probably only enough for one. And see, mine is less strong again. So if I'm using real cold brew concentrate that's like quadruple strength, you're going to use much less. I'm going to go ahead, because that was the gingerbread coffee, and add a little bit of gingerbread syrup. Okay. Yummy. Okay, there's no reason I can't use this. So I'm gonna and I'm just going to mix that up a little bit because I want the sweetness to get throughout. And then you can kind of see. You can see better if I do this, huh? So the part that's not foamy is going to come out first. And see how really, really thick that foam is? That's why I wanted to pick this glass, was so you can really kind of see. And usually I get, you know me, I get my spatula up in here because I'm like, don't waste a drop of that. I had to listen to it. You had to listen to it this time. And then we could even get like super cute. Oh, I need a. We're in Messy Kathy's kitchen. That's where you always are, but you may not know that. But we could even, let's say, sprinkle some cinnamon. Or actually, let's sprinkle a little bit of ginger on here. So you could sprinkle some things and make it super pretty. You could, for the gingerbread syrup, you could even do some really minced pieces of candied ginger, but they gotta be really tiny or it's gonna stink. But you can definitely see how that's really holding up. Does that make sense? And a lot of times then what I do is I go and I mix the milk in it too, because I'm a little anal about how I have my coffee. It needs to be just so. But it's all about that mouthfeel from that frothy milk. And it wasn't until this year you could even get vegan cold foam at Starbucks. So you can get it there now, but honestly, at $5 to $6 a drink, because you know it costs extra for soy milk or coconut milk or almond milk if you're using that, on top of having everything else. I think it's almost, if that's something you get a couple times a week, an Air Vitamix container isn't such a bad investment. Ooh, Joanne. Joanne is making a turmeric golden milk tea with froth milk, and I've been doing that too. I also make an herbal chai. It's really just a spiced tea with chicory. I think it's called Bengal spice. It's celestial seasonings. It's nothing like super fancy. But yeah, and if you make a little bit of froth to go on there, it makes you feel like you just had the best drink ever. And so let's make Cheryl hers. So this is how you cheat with these. You pull it up like this. If it's not done yet, you can still snag a cup of coffee, and you're not going to burn anybody. And then I'm just going to go ahead, and I will get a little spatula. And you can kind of see the froth didn't stay as good on this. However, if this is something you're just like, well, I'd like to try it, or I drink tea sometimes, or that might be fun to do on top of hot chocolate, or a butter beer, right? Those are all those things. It's still nice. And I don't think I'm going to be able to show you very well. Let's see if I pan in, if you can see it any better. I doubt you can, but let's pretend. See, you can still see it on there. It's not this super, super thick. And let me see if I can take this brightness down a little bit and see if that helps you see this a little bit more. Nope. You can sort of see it now versus that. Because this is going to stay nice and stiff. Well, hello, Miss Iris from Long Island. Welcome. And someone said they found it on Amazon. Yes, and Linda loves Bengal spice too. I like to let, because it has no black tea or anything in it, I like to let things like that are real herbal teas that don't have hibiscus, because that's the exception, sit for like 10 minutes sometimes and really infuse those yummy spices. So for those of you who may have just been coming in, I will just kind of briefly go over how I created this mess that you're looking at. We're making cold foam topped cold brew coffee, which is what this is. So this is the AER Air Disc Vitamix Topper. That's what That's what they use in Starbucks to make their cold foam. But it is $115 for just this part. You get the lid. But you don't get the Vitamix. The Vitamix is, another several $100s. But I also tried it out using an immersion blender that had a little chopper. And you know what? It worked okay. It did not work better. However, budget version. Ta-da! And wherever the links are, so if you're on Facebook, double click the video. It will open up bigger and you'll see the links to the side. I've got a link to an immersion blender, to the air, and as well as to these barista milks, which allow you to froth better. So if you're not trying to froth, you don't really need them, or to steam things. So that's one thing to know. And we just talked a little bit about how I make my cold brew coffee. Do you guys have any questions? Because if not, I think I really need to have my coffee today. But also, if you're new and you haven't seen things where you are before, yesterday I made a cinnamon dolce syrup, which is like a brown sugar cinnamon syrup. And the day before, I made a gingerbread syrup with maple syrup. And both of those syrups, if you don't do coffee or tea, you could put them over baked or poached apples and pears. You could use it on oatmeal or pancakes. There's really no limit to what you could do. And that's a good question. Joanne says, will the Vitamix Air make aquafaba meringues? I have heard, I've not tried it yet, but I've heard it is not the best thing to use with aquafaba. I'll do a little more research on that. Another thing I was doing is taking sliced fresh citrus fruit and making cocktail mixes in here. Because what it does is it agitates it, so you're ending up with little strips of peel, and then you can just go through the strainer and get all the pits and the seeds and things like that out. And you could do that for alcoholic or non, so you could do cocktail mixers or mocktail mixers. So you could do that and then maybe add some sparkling water or a little bit of ginger syrup or something like that to make a mocktail. Or we hit a bit of a Mai Tai extravaganza earlier this year. I was making everything from scratch, but I'd make one Mai Tai each. But so I feel like if I don't make anything else with this, I paid for it with all the things we've done this year. But hopefully I'll have some more information about the air disc, and maybe we'll try some more things. I figured through the end of this week we'll keep doing some drinks, and probably at some point, how about this? I won't promise you what I'm doing tomorrow, but at some point I'm going to do like a frappuccino so you guys can see how to make those at home. Because, I know a lot of people don't drink cold drinks in the winter, but I do. And you can also make them into caffeine-free milkless milkshakes and ice creamless milkshakes. So I was thinking it might be kind of cool to do like a chocolate peppermint one for the holidays. Okay. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and thanks for being patient with all the technical excitement that's going on. Have a wonderful day. Take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay.